There can be only one podcast, and may it be the Prince of the Universe. Hi, folks. I'm Matt.
And I'm Wes.
Oh, and I'm Brandon.
Oh,
Yep.
I didn't see you there.
Hey, how's it
Where'd
going?
you come from? Get out of here. Were you in Wes's pocket
Oh, what?
the whole time?
I was behind his head. You couldn't see me.
Right behind my jester's head.
There you go. Yeah. Actually, today's topic is your idea, Brandon. Things we pass down to our kids. Now, if anyone doesn't know, Wes has a couple of himself. They're just all illegitimate. That's why he won't me 23 anytime soon, because he don't want to know who they are.
Only if I'm 23.
Oh, those kids are 23. That's what's going on.
Yeah. That stings, I bet.
Oh, man, yeah.
Those chat rooms.
Those chat rooms. That mall. That 23 years ago would have been mall day. Well, no, I mean, that's longer than it's 25 years, hasn't it? Since mall days, I guess.
Well, my mall days have...
Well, I know, but I'm saying our mall days was
Yeah.
a quarter century ago. That's crazy to think about now. But things you pass down to your kids. I like the topic because there's a lot of things. My kids are all younger right now, so there's not much I can try to pass down to them because we don't, they play with their toys and that's it. Plus, they're girls. Not that makes a difference, but the same thing is, I don't know if they'll be into Star Wars as much as I was. The boy, maybe. I don't know. Some of the things that I like, some of the sports I like, will my boy like them too? I don't know, because your dad is kind of a big influence on you. What sports he liked is the sports you kind of liked. What music he listened to was the music you used to listen to. Like, I know James Taylor because of dad. I know Barry Manilow because of mom. And not that I would found those on my own, but that's just what my parents listened to, and can't listen to that kind of music too. So there's certain things and what's it called, osmosis? You kind of they just kind of leak because they see you listen to it, watching it, doing it, whatever,
Right.
And they're like, yeah,
So
I like that too.
Cigarettes because their parents do it.
Because their parents do it, yeah. So, so I'm not at that point yet where I'm like, well, let me show you this. I mean, I've done a few things and shown them, hey, here's a movie Daddy liked. I showed the girls A Never-Ending Story.
Oh,
It was too early because they're like, this isn't a cartoon and Elsa's not in it. So I'm not, they're not hooked. So they're into animated right now. So I was like, all right, well, we'll ease off on it for a while. Oddly enough, though, I show them the Ewok movies and they love those. I guess you have stuffed teddy bears walking around. They're like, okay,
They're good with
Daddy,
that.
what happened? Did they die? Yeah, they did. But, no, they went to sleep. They're just not going to get up anytime soon.
What about Flight of the Navigator? Y'all watch that one?
I mean, I've seen it before, but I haven't
like
showed
that
them
one.
that one.
Well,
But I mean, just recently did I try to show them, like, this past Christmas, like, Never-Ending Story. I was like, y'all need to watch something. You need to educate yourself.
Yeah.
So I showed them that one. There's a few other ones I like to see. Fly of the Navigator is a good one to pick from. Last Starfighter, I'd watch that right now on my own. I think Last Starfighter is excellent.
Are you about to reference having Rad on VHS?
Man, I'm not trying. Look, I'm not trying to brag, but as I've mentioned,
I forgot to show you.
Yeah.
It's on there too. Rad is.
Man.
Looked it up.
man,
So we
sorcery.
we can watch Rad next week if you
Man, I
want to.
love that movie. Love
That's
it.
you know what.
But does it
honestly,
have a VHS quality?
Let's pin a date where we come watch Rad, and then we'll come up here and give our thoughts on the movie
While
Rad.
it's fresh, man, yeah.
Oh, well, Wes and I did this for the Michael Keaton Batman movies. We saw Batman Returns in theaters. No, we saw both of them. Yeah, we saw Batman. They did a double feature. Heath came with us, but he left halfway through because his bedtime was after Batman. I'm not kidding. He wasn't. Plus, he doesn't like Batman Returns as much.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed Batman Returns a whole lot more and appreciate it a whole lot. But Wes has always appreciated it, but I hadn't, because we did an episode on it a long time ago before this, and then I got to see it for the first time in a long time, and I was like, oh, and there are some scenes I totally forgot about too. In it, and I was like, it was a really good, solid film, and so we decided to go ahead and watch Batman Forever together and Batman and Robin. So he'd come over, we'd watch the movie, then come upstairs and do our thoughts on it. That was a lot of fun too, because it was fresh in our head, and we could say what we liked, what we didn't.
Sure.
Batman Forever had, if they would have made Two-Face not like the Joker, it would have been a really good film. And it was probably one of the last good film, because Jim Carrey gave a good performance, and I thought Val Kilmer did a good Batman. And then is Batman and Robin that bad? The answer, yes.
It's pretty rough.
Yeah, it's worse. It's
rough.
worse than what I remember. Like the Batman Gold card, don't leave home without it.
It's
I was
almost
oh my
like
goodness.
whatever they canceled the new Batgirl movie for, they should have canceled Batman and Robin for 25 years ago.
Oh yeah, they didn't have a brain back then.
So,
They're like, just let it roll. Yeah. But yeah, so we'll review the movie Rad.
Hey, it's worth it. It's worth a review.
So
that would have to be a real serious Patreon member for wanting to hear that one.
Good point.
To get your thoughts on Rad, they got to pay.
Right.
They got to put that behind the paywall.
Right.
Wow.
I think that's a great idea.
Okay, then we named the okay, there we go.
Maybe the password could be Rad69.
But it came out in. Anyway.
It's behind the paywall.
Yeah, got it.
So that would be
Paywall.
the password to the
Okay.
paywall. Or after the paywall. I would think you would pay before.
We could probably just stream it on your OnlyFans account.
That is true. There's an apron, there's a way.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right. So, what were some things that you were we usually don't talk about the topic, and I know you weren't meaningly talking about the topic before we went on the podcast, but you mentioned that your daughter is big into wrestling now.
Yeah, man, like super big. It what's crazy is we were you hit the guide button on your TV, pulls up the menu, and I just changed it and it clicked it, and then opened the guide back up immediately. It couldn't have been on it more than 20 seconds. And man, from that moment, it was on Friday Night SmackDown. And from that Friday night, she was 5. I did some math earlier and recalled that she was 5 at the time. She's 10 now. So for the last 5 years, man, it has been... no, she's 12 now. Man, what am I talking about? This dude had me doing math wrong the whole time. Golly, you're an idiot.
Would you like to tell the story from earlier when we had this exact conversation 30 minutes ago?
She's going to be 13 this year. This dude's got me thinking she's 10.
Go ahead, Wes. He said what? He said it was 10 years ago. You said 5. And he said, yeah, that's what I said.
I don't know.
And he just kept, but it was like nothing made sense in that whole conversation. You mean it was 5?
You tell it.
Yeah,
You tell it.
I said 10. No, 5. Yeah, 5. It was
why he can't remember.
Who's on first is what I wanted to ask.
Hey, come on.
He
Remember?
started terrible last podcast. He's going to finish even worse this podcast.
My man doing it. Yes, sir. Yeah. Wait, is that a compliment? That's a compliment, bro. Thank you.
Yeah.
It felt like one.
Awful.
Anyway.
Yeah. I hope you don't pass on to her your incredible math skills, since you could not figure out 5 years ago.
So okay, wrestling, and that's cool. And like when my kids get that age, that's really when you start connecting things. Because I mean, right now, all the girls care about is Barbies.
Yeah,
and that's great because I love my action figures. I'm totally fine with that. I love them playing with their Barbies more than sitting on their little tablets. So go ahead and play away. But right now, there's not going to be much in common. But with me and my dad, we didn't start connecting maybe till watch baseball together or something, when we got a little older, because he wasn't playing with action figures.
Yeah.
But eventually, you start sharing some of those things together.
Oh, man,
so what else? Yeah. What else? Is there anything currently right now that you share with them? I'm going to ask the question, what do you want to share with them later on? But is there anything currently right now that you share? Besides wrestling, which is very cool, by the way.
Yeah. I mean,
who's your favorite wrestler?
Mine, man, I just like her. Wait,
hers? Hers first, then yours.
It changes,
okay, so hers is just went. Okay.
Right.
You told me this
I can tell you her favorate villain, Roman Reigns, no doubt.
Okay.
And then she loves Cody Rhodes, but then you never know, man.
It changes.
It rotates.
So who's
quickly.
yours?
I kind of like, man, I like Roman Reigns. I don't,
okay.
Which is kind of, I wouldn't have really thought that. I don't really know why. I like some of I just like the way the guy moves. He's real smooth, and unlike the way I talk, it's just real smooth. I took that one from you. I wasn't going to let you have that one.
All right. And then best of all time.
I mean, obviously I want to spark him up. I'll say Hulk Hogan, but
okay. I mean, a lot of people like.
I love Ultimate Warrior, man. That was like,
wow.
He was
to
one
be
of my
honest,
faves.
as a kid, there was another Brandon that worked with us who was a big Ultimate Warrior fan when he came back in the late '90s. Remember that?
Yeah. He was a real big Sting fan.
Oh, so was
yeah.
For Halloween, he dressed up that year as Spaghetti Face Sting.
Yep.
When he was in the Wolfpack.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
But
So he's a big Sting fan, but he was happy that the Ultimate Warrior was back, and then didn't talk about him after that Halloween Havoc. Mm-hmm. When everyone found out, oh. But I'll be honest, back in the day, this guy is jacked. He's got muscles on top of he looks like Popeye after 4 cans of spinach.
Yeah, he was pretty. Yeah.
And then he's running around, he's doing his shtick, and that's why everyone went crazy for him. Talent-wise, wasn't there, but it didn't matter. He electrified a crowd.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people who don't have as much talent as other people. They know how to work a crowd, and if you can get that pop from the crowd, that's really what matters.
Yeah, I think that's what kind of was Goldberg, really, wasn't it? I mean, he was very much the same.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He came out there, what, a 1-minute match?
Dude.
Jackhammer done. Spear, jackhammer done. People went nuts.
Yeah.
He did nothing every week.
Yeah, man.
He did nothing. But
he did a lot of working in his traps.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did. He had the old double shoulder.
Oh,
but
man.
The thing is, that still, it doesn't take away from the excitement. Bruce was a huge Goldberg fan. When he would study for pharmacy back in the day, he'd lock himself in his room. I was only allowed to get him if Goldberg was coming out, because he had enough time to watch that 1-minute Goldberg match. Him getting to the ring was longer than the match, okay? But it didn't matter because he just electrified the crowd. So
he did, man.
And it's fine to pick Ultimate Warrior.
Well, hold on. I mean, I wouldn't. I'm not saying that maybe my lock-in. I loved.
So you're going to go with Hulkster?
Not really either. I like Macho Man a lot. Man, Sting was the thing is your other like you mentioned earlier, man. Like the first 2 people I named were the first 2 people that you named for him, and I thought that was uniquely. I wasn't expecting that. We have the same taste in men. Me and Brandon.
What underrated? What Wes underrated jobber? Favorite jobber? It's easy for me. Norman Smiley. Even though later on he did get the European belt, right?
Well, I think
back in the later days.
That he was. I never considered Norman a jobber.
Yeah.
His character was too funny. I mean, Big Wiggle.
Big Wiggle's great. But he was
good.
the Saturday Night Wrestling guy. He just did a thing there. He was always around, but he never got a push. I know later on, when he was like one of the last people around, they gave him some European title or whatever for a while. But he never really got a big push. But I loved him too. But he was just like a unknown, mid-card.
In WCW at that time, there was a guy. I mean, they did a little bit with him later, but Lenny Lane. I liked Lenny Lane.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I know that name.
Like Finley was mid-card for a while, but they gave him a push. Mm-hmm. So, but Norman, I don't think ever got that push.
Yeah.
But
man, I really like Stone Cold. I just want to put that out there. Trying to change it up. I was
trying to change the subject. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Okay, so Stone Cold. All right, so anyway, moving on.
The spotlight.
Moving on. I'm moving on here.
Can we move on, please?
We are moving on.
Thank you.
So, anything else that y'all share?
Yeah, I mean, our faith. So we have, she's got me prayer cards we read every day.
Good.
It's like it's our kind of something we just connect with.
You Protestant, Baptist, Catholic?
Well, I mean, I was raised Baptist. I guess non-denominational. I'm
non-denominational. Okay, that's fine. Yeah,
yeah. And so
I was just asking.
No, it's all. No, man, it's not.
All right. And what in the future? Or are you planning on wait till you get older? I'll show you this, or I'm waiting for the right moment. Sometimes it's the right moment.
Yeah,
to
the right
introduce
moment.
Something.
So I wanted to wait kind of to about maybe in this time frame now and getting her into card collecting. But man, she jumped onto that during COVID, and she's wide open on that.
What kind of cards?
Wrestling cards.
Okay, all right.
Football. I mean, she does. Man,
oh, really?
She's like, she's kind of. She loves busting packs. It's a big deal.
Well, my dad was a baseball card collector for years, and he thought, well, when's the right time to get my sons involved? And he said he tested out. He went to Kmart or KB Toy. It was the Kmart All-Star box pack.
Of
absolutely.
All the All-Stars.
Yeah. And he went to Kmart and said, you know what? I'll buy them, and I'll see what they say. Because he was testing the waters, because he really wanted to get us into cards, but he didn't know if we were there yet, if we were old enough. So he gave us each a pack of cards, and we opened it up, and of course, every card in there was an all-star. It was an all-star pack.
Right.
He's like, oh, you got so and so. He got so, and you know, Dad would flip it over, show us all the hits, his Hall of Fame, you know, his All-Star record and his whatever things and Gold Gloves and everything. We're like, oh wow, you know. So we got this nice deck of cards, and so the next year, Dad's like, hey, do y'all want to collect cards? We're like, yeah. And immediately, and that was my best Christmas present I think I've ever gotten was for 1986. He bought me and my brothers a box of 1986 Topps wax packs. We opened the present, which was the whole box, and then got to open 36 more presents.
Yep.
With gum, which was brittle and nasty back then, but we didn't care. It was gum.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Gum. You loved it. You loved it. We shoved as much
it.
as we could in our mouth. It was gum. It had a little present in there too.
Yeah.
And then you go through it and you brag about Don Mattingly or Pete
Absolutely.
Rose, Dwight Gooden, and you just go nuts over all these characters that you knew and everything. And then afterwards, you went through your cards and tried to get a set.
This dude is selling me.
I'm ready to start. I mean, I'm
selling me on the enjoyment of collecting cards. That was so good.
It was
Dude,
great. Honestly,
awesome.
36 presents.
Totally agree.
It was one big present that we went nuts over. Then we got to open 36 little presents with candy in it, gum. Because you remember your parents rarely let you have gum back in the day. When you were little, you couldn't have gum. Gum was a special thing. But now we had 36 stacks of gum now.
Yeah.
And then we had all these cards, and then we can make sets, and then we traded on cards we needed. And we had remember everything came with a checklist back then.
Oh yeah.
And back then you just we would write on it, but you'd write on the checklist and check off and look at the cards you needed, and then you went to the card shop and you went and got the singles.
I've done
I need a Stu
there.
Claiborne
Absolutely.
who played for the Angels.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know, but go through the box of singles here.
Here's go through the commons, man. You just take it.
I'm gonna do a ad here real quick. The book I have in my hand is called The Wax Pack. It's by Brad Belugian, and for people listening to this, I'm going to interview him on my channel next month in March. He's coming on, and feel the cover.
Yeah, well, I've read it.
It's the wax cover. Oh, you've read it. Yeah.
Oh,
this
my
is,
gosh,
it's
dude.
It is an amazing book. Again, folks, it's called The Wax Pack. It feels like the wax from the packs.
That's
okay.
Dude, do you have look, man?
That blows my mind. And it looks like the 86 Topps.
It does.
What happened is he opened up a pack of 86 Topps and decided he was going to visit or try to find every one of those players and track them down and where they are today.
Really? Man, thank you for this. This is amazing.
Borrow it. No, if you're going to read it, honestly, it's a fantastic read.
I would read it absolutely, but this is kind of a feel like I don't know, man. That's kind of taking you down memory lane.
If you're going to read it,
I'd love to.
It is so interesting, and even for the average baseball fan, it's so isn't it? It was so interesting. Right. Yeah, now the thing is, he's coming out. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now. He's coming out because you can pre-order it now with the 6-pack. It's wrestling. He's also a big wrestling fan back in the 80s. And I'm going to spoil a few things, but that's okay. He gave me an advanced copy. I've already read digital copy because the book's not out yet. I've read it. It's fantastic. I can't wait to talk to him about it. He was friends with the Iron Sheik. Back when the Iron Sheik was doing the convention scene, he was one of the guys who was one of the handlers of the money, kind of helped the Sheik get from A to B and whatnot. And so he and the Sheik became friends. And so it's a story on the Iron Sheik. And the night that he won the belt, on that original card, there are only 6 wrestlers alive.
Really?
So it's called the 6-pack because he went to go visit all 6 wrestlers.
Dude.
Just like he did for this. And it's good. It's good because he wrote it, finished it, and then the Iron Sheik passed away. Mm-hmm. So he had to go back and write a little epilogue about attending the Sheik's funeral and what it was like. And then about how the man made a change at the very end of his life. He made a change. He was kind of in bad shape for a while, but and just the wild craziness that is the Sheik. But then after you think, how long can you talk about the Sheik?
Dude,
then he moves on to Tony Atlas, Sergeant Slaughter, everyone who was there, some jobber that's not even playing wrestling anymore. Just like he did in this one, he's visiting and getting into these people's lives, and or hilariously trying to get a hold of Sergeant Slaughter, who doesn't want to talk to anyone. But and then talking about each one going to Hulk Hogan's bar. Everything. So it's
you would love it there,
guys. Again, you can go on Amazon. I'm just going to go promote it right now. If Brad's not listening to this, but when he comes on, we're going to have him talk about it all. But it's funny because you read that, you think this guy's one love is baseball, and he made me realize that we're not one-dimensional. There's other likes we have. There's other interests we have. And so listening to him talk about wrestling, I'm like, this guy, baseball was part of his life, and wrestling was. Yes, you can have more than one hobby and be passionate about both. And he sounds just as passionate as he did in the wax pack than he does in the six pack. It's unbelievable. So when that book comes out, I'll give you that one too. Okay. But it's really good.
Now, this is amazing.
You smiled when I said Sheiky Baby. So what are you a?
I love the Iron Sheik.
Brad Belushi, that was always his favorite wrestler. He said 'cause that was the one that everyone booed and everyone hated. But he said this guy's awesome. You know? I
didn't realize how good of a wrestler he was until I found him through Wes again later in life.
But you are going. I think it is just it's good and heartwarming at the same time.
Everybody knows that Hogan's the best. I mean,
but
I just wonder what the Sheik would have to say.
Where else are we going? What are you going to pass on to your kids?
Okay, so I mean,
I hadn't even. Well, did you say
you got a? No, go ahead. Finish what you were saying. I'm sorry. I don't know how we got off.
We
didn't.
Said
baseball.
We didn't. We're exactly where we were supposed to be. Thanks.
Now, I don't collect. I did collect tops for a while, but I bought factory sets at Target back in the day.
Man,
but my factory set was missing one common card, and I got the factory set for Christmas. And so New Year's, I was putting in a folder, found out it was missing a card. And called Tops and said, hey, I need this card, and they wouldn't give it to me. And I was like,
what? Out of the factory set?
No, they said, we don't deal with those. That's last year. I'm like, last year was like 2 days ago. So I just stopped. But I would like to get my boy into it maybe. That'd be fun.
I love that story where he's like, well, not buying anymore then.
No, I think that's stupid.
You don't push cuckoo over the edge. That's
I'm not. I have other things to spend my money on. And if they're going to be like that over a common, whatever. I mean, I get it if I'm trying to ask for a rookie card to get an extra card, whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm asking for some character that some clown.
Man, I tell you what, I just opened. I say just opened last. In the last couple of years, I had a factory set, where the Bo Jackson card, the scorecard.
Yeah.
It's got when COVID was going on, like PSA, people were sending cards in. It was just gambling's what it was. Through cards, or maybe some would possibly say other laundering or sorts. But the thing would be is that, it got crazy. So I bust this up because some of at the time it was going $500 and $600, and I was like, man, this thing's cherry. It's never been messed up. Finally crack it, open it up. My Bo Jackson is not even all on the card. Like it's the worst cut ever. And I thought, you got to be freaking kidding. And it's got a crinkle in it.
It's a regular scorecard.
Yeah, dude, it's the worst.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't care about their cards at all.
Man.
Yeah, that might be a better story than him getting mad.
It was deflating. I'll be honest, it hurt.
All right, so what other things do you want to get him introduced to?
Man, I tried. I like shooting guns and such. I tried introducing that. No, that's not happening. She does not a bang like loud. That's not her thing. So, puzzles, crosswords, Connect Four, old school games, stuff like that. She loves that kind of stuff, man. I want her to have that whole interaction like that. I just remember playing those games with my family and friends and stuff growing up. And
growing up, board game night was the family night.
Yeah.
The thing you did when it rained outside too. You just played board games. And it's a community thing. It's a social gathering. It's become a lot more popular now.
Right.
Obviously, I'm sitting in a room with like 500 games, but
there are quite a few. Yeah.
The thing is, though, I also hope to pass that down when the kids get older. We'll be playing games together. And I do have some younger games in the closet there. So me and the girls play a few of those right now. But they're still they're just a little too young because right now it's like everyone wins because they don't understand. It's a competition. It's just fun to spin the wheel or roll the dice and move, and they're not even moving right, but it doesn't matter,
Yeah, you sound just like me, dude.
But in a couple more years,
it's like
they're 4 right now, but in a couple more years, in 2 more years, they're gonna be able to play competently.
Right.
So it's coming soon, and I'll be so excited. So that one, also reading. My dad used to read to us at night, and I thought it was the best thing ever. He'd read a storybook, a chapter out of a book or whatever, and I was like, man, I want to do that. So reading a chapter of a book, going through a book series with the kids.
I've tried that too, man. It's never really, I would never really that was never mine and my daughter's connection. It wasn't there, but
it may not be for me either.
I bet no, man. I think it probably. Man, I don't know.
It may
now at this. So I said she'll be 13 this year. Now she's starting to do a lot more reading, and my wife does a ton of reading. So now it's I didn't work for much, but man, it just.
Do you know what got me into reading? And it was about 10, 12, 11, 12. Book It, Pizza Hut's reading program. You remember Book It, right?
I kind of remember this.
You get that personal pan pizza if you read so many books.
I remember this.
Yeah, you remember it, Wes?
Walk us through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, walk us through what it was. Go ahead.
I mean, you're the one that's referencing. I had thought of this, and
you haven't thought about Book It for okay.
Did
so Book It is a program. I think it may be still around, but it's for kids. It was encouraging kids to read over the summer, and so your parent took you to the library. You checked out books, and they had to check and say yes, they did read these, and they had to, I think, write on the back of the sheet. And once you read so many books,
it's like a little
you
booklet,
got a little
right?
stamp thing, yeah, and then you got a free personal pan pizza, either cheese or pepperoni. And I'll be honest, I read that really got me started. The program worked.
I remember
because that's what got me hooked on
man.
reading. But I started reading book after book after book, and when the time came, do you remember that when you'd sit down that and you'd hand in your Book It card?
Oh yeah,
and it was completely filled out.
I don't think I ever had.
They'd ask you, "Do you want cheese or pepperoni?"
Oh,
pepperoni,
man.
please. And it came in, and it was your
That's
pizza.
mine.
You felt like Kevin McAllister who just ordered his own cheese pizza all to myself. And I'm like, see this personal pan pizza? You want some? You didn't earn it.
Right.
I read the books. I read for this.
Put the work in.
I own you, pepperoni. Get in my mouth. And it was, honestly, you felt like you climbed Mount Everest or won the World Series because getting that personal pan pizza, and you knew that you had earned it with your mind-boggling book readings.
Performance on this podcast is so sales. It is incredible.
Look, I'm in.
I feel like we're in like a hotel lobby in between a break where we've been in this like the conference room where we're getting like just inundated with all this positivity.
Yeah.
I'm selling you a timeshare.
Yeah, that's it. Timeshare. That's it.
How are we going to wrap up this meeting?
You hear that? That's
So who's ready to buy?
Yes.
Me.
Who wants it? I want two. Wait,
That's
what?
right.
I don't know, man.
That's right.
Good job.
Sell me this pen.
Pass that on, dog. Man, that is incredible right there.
But I think they still hold the Book It program, but that's one thing I definitely want to get the kids interested in because I know what that reward felt like.
Right.
You know what that reward felt like.
Did you do that much? Well, you did. You count.
Obviously you remembered it because you were
yeah.
like,
Are you getting emotional? You're crying. Yes, you are. What's wrong? It's okay, man.
Yeah. Anyway.
You want to see Wes cry?
He's crying.
Can you play the end song, the piano theme to Incredible Hulk? He can't listen to that. I'll be honest, that is a very sad song.
Thank you.
That's a very sad song.
Very touching.
It is a very sad song. But yeah.
Okay. Oh, man.
Anyway, though, but those are the type of things that I hope.
Yeah.
Cooking, and we read a few little children's books to them at night, one or two sometimes when there's time.
Yeah.
And that's really nice. But I'm talking about like the Chronicles of Narnia or something. Go through them like Dad went through Fellowship of the Ring with the Lord of the Rings. I want to do that kind of stuff. I mean they need to be a little older for some of that stuff. But
for sure,
the thing is that even the Harry Potter books, my wife tried to do it, but they were like running around because they're not at that moment where they can just sit and listen.
Yeah.
And plus, you got to be honest, you have to have a good reading voice.
You have an incredible reading voice.
Well, I did not appreciate my dad as much because I didn't realize. I thought reading was just that simple, but Dad did voices. It's almost like Dad either read the chapter ahead of time and prepped for this. I'm sure he didn't, but he just had that all natural voice. We could change his voice and it was the same voice. How do you know who's talking? Because when I tried to do that to the girls, like, oh, wait, that's not Cindy, that's Eric. Okay, hold on. Did my high pitched voice. But Dad just kind of got the feel of it. And he read both Jurassic Park novels to us.
Oh, wow.
All this stuff. Back when Jurassic Park first came out, we did not want to read Jurassic Park because the movie was best. The book's excellent. The book's better than the movie. I've read the book 3 times.
And that's most of the time, right? The books, because it's much more descriptive in it.
Yeah.
You kind of...
But that kind of stuff that he would read to us, and even, I was just talking to my brother about this, even some of the books that he used to read, he still has on the bookshelf. And I'm just going to go ahead and grab them and read them for myself again sometime because those are the memories I have of these odd trilogies that he found back in the 80s and 90s that that never made it that big, but he just said, the Dragon King trilogy, written for families, but adult read, but family friendly, and he got that one. And I don't remember what it was about. I just remember I loved it back in the day, but that's not something that's big now, but that kind of stuff.
You really
the
have
Magic Bicycle series, which I bought.
I feel like I remember
love it as a
this.
kid.
I feel like I remember this too. Man, look, man, I gotta just say, you've passed something like you stirred something up in me earlier today. Well, right, beforehand you were showing us your the secret. The secret, I can't think of the word to use.
Yeah.
But we were going through old cartoons,
Yeah.
and just like cartoons as a kid, man, and you were just like stuff that we were talking about, and just all the different ones that y'all could remember that I couldn't, and then so I mean, I'm gonna man, like I've shown like Gabby a few of those and stuff, but there's just so many of them y'all have talked about. I hadn't even thought about in years.
We have another idea of what we're going to do for a future podcast too, but we'll talk about that one later. But anyway, good topic. We'll wrap it up here. I gotta stop when I'm on a high here. Wes is ready to just shoot himself. So
Stop messing this up, Wes.
should we bring Heath back?
My gosh. It's like this dude's drowning and somebody handed him something. All right. Hold.
Hold this.
You want a Coke? Huh?
It's an
Yeah.
anchor. All right.
You need to book it.
I'm ready. man.
Oh, and we'll see you next time on Princes of the Universe.